What happens when a man who has been a husband for 20 years wakes up and he's not one anymore? Not legally, not emotionally, and not structurally. We talk a lot about what divorce does to women, but we rarely talk about what it does to men. The silence, the identity collapse, the absence of a map. So today's episode is kind of different and I love it because it's about the man in the mirror and what happens when he chooses not to disappear but to reveal. And if you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another episode that helps you rise stronger, calmer, and more confident than ever. So welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of From Breakup to Badass. I'm Yanira Puy, speaker, wellness coach, and your guide through rebuilding after heartbreak. And today's conversation is rare because my audience is mostly women navigating through divorce and reinvention, right, Robert? But today we're stepping into the other side of the story. I'm joined by Robert Hainer. Am I pronouncing that right?
No.
Hainer.
Okay. Hainer.
Okay, it's good. I am joined by Robert Hainer, a man who spent 20 years as a husband. And when that identity ended, he didn't retreat, he rebuilt. So I'm going to ask the first question, and I think this is going to be a very fun episode. Can you look at me and not my notes, please? Thank you. Okay. Okay, so what does it feel like when 20 years of we suddenly becomes me?
I think at first it's maybe a little bit scary.
Are you going to say like, oh, thank you for inviting me to the podcast
No,
or something?
I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm
Go
asking
ahead.
a question. So at first it feels like a little bit scary because for the first time in 20 years, you're on your own. And those 20 years, your wife, your children, your family, or your whole social life, right? They're everything to you. And now you're separated from them. You're on your own. You're a nobody now. So you have to figure out who you are, which is both good and bad. It is a chance to learn, like, oh, who do I want to be? You look in the mirror, who do I want to be? Do I want to be what I was before when my wife kind of defined who I was for me? Because women tend to do that. They tend to tell you who you need to be and what you need to be, and they don't let you decide on your own. They tell you what they want. So you try to be what they want, not what you want. So when you're free and divorced and single, you get a chance to decide what you want to be. So that's what I did. I looked in the mirror and I said, after dating a little bit, and I did date right away, but I wasn't finding what I liked. I wasn't.
Okay, hold on.
What?
So we're talking about, because I have so many questions for you, Robert.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like, how does it feel to be a we and after we and then me, right?
So me wasn't satisfied. Like, why did this happen to me? What do I need to do to
Is that
feel-
what you ask yourself at the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like why have I been rejected? Why have I been set adrift by myself from my family? Why am I alone? What's wrong with me? What can I do to be better so this doesn't happen to me anymore? Right?
I think this is interesting because, just like women, we ask ourselves the same thing. I'm sorry, but there is a salud. There is the salud moment. Salud.
Chaim.
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 Mr. Hainer. Okay. So anyway, we ask the same thing. And if you're listening or watching this, we ask the same thing. What did I do wrong? Why me and not other people, right? And we keep comparing. But I think, according to research shows that long-term partnership becomes neurologically intertwined with identity. That's why it's so hard sometimes to look at ourselves not as a we, but just as a me, because we spend so much time. And for you, it was 20 years. So it's harder. Like for me, it was just, and I'm not going to say just 7 years because it still is a lot. And I do believe that I lost myself a little bit. Did the same thing happen to you?
Like for a man who has a wife and children to come home to every day, that's we're the leaders of our family. We're everything holds it
Mm.
together. We support our, and then all of a sudden, we're no longer part of that. We're exiled from it. We're no longer. I mean, they tell us we're still fathers, but we're not because we're not seeing our children every day. They tell us whatever. Like we don't have those things anymore. Now we're single, we're adrift, and we haven't been that way. Let's see, I got divorced when I was 46, so I hadn't been that way since I was 26.
Mm.
So we're entirely different people from 26 to 46. But not a lot because we've been in this one relationship and we haven't grown a lot in those 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little, but not a lot because we haven't been by ourselves. We've only been in that relationship and that's been our identity. So now we have to figure out a new identity after 20 years. How do we do that?
I think the same thing happened to us. I mean,
Hmm.
you're saying some things that I feel like it relates to me as well, because the same thing happened to me, or our audience who are watching or listening to us today, that we lose a part of us. We lose our part of our identity because you were a husband and you were saying no, but that happens to men because it was my family. But the same thing happened to me because I was the wife and I didn't have kids on my own, but I had his kids, and then I never saw them again. So it's still hard. I wanted to ask you something. Like, what was the first moment that you realized that this wasn't just about the relationship, but it was more about you?
Well, it took a little bit of time. I mean, like I said, I started dating right away,
Mm-hmm.
even before I was fully divorced. Like I moved out of the house. I lived in my own apartment. I started going out and dating women that I met on dating apps,
Mm-hmm.
and but I wasn't finding what I liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at myself like, why aren't you finding what you like? Why aren't you connecting with anyone? What do you need to do that? So I started working on myself. I was like, well, maybe I need to reinvent myself. Maybe I need to do some things that I've let go while being married. Maybe I need to uncover who I really am, who I was who I was going to be before I got married. So I went out. I lost 100 pounds in 3 months. I started working out every day. I started becoming what I thought women would desire. But in that process, it wasn't about that anymore. It was about me being a better me, right? At first, it was I want to be more desirable. I wanted to find a higher quality date. But in time, I learned that, like, wow, I really feel better about me now. And that really became the result of what I was doing.
So I want to ask you something, because you're talking about, like, you know, like doing something for you, and you started with your body, and you just said that you lost 100 pounds.
Right.
So why did you start it with your body?
Well, that's the most obvious thing you see in the mirror. You
Mm-hmm.
look in the mirror, what's the first thing you see?
Yeah.
You don't see your emotional intelligence, you don't see your soul, you see your body. And if it's not where you think it
Mm.
should be, that's the first thing you work on. But by working on your body, other things come along with it.
Yeah.
You start to feel better about yourself, your mental health improves, your
Mm-hmm.
spiritual
Mm-hmm.
health improves, you start to experience things you didn't before.
Mm-hmm.
So um, it all becomes one kind of thing. It all combines together and makes you a
Mm-hmm.
better person over time.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, like people who know like who know me, they do know, like, I love exercise. Like for me, I love it, and I have gone hiking with Robert and his girlfriend, which is one of my best friends,
Hmm.
from Venezuela, of course. And
Yeah.
I mean, we love that. Like, and exercise, according to studies, they showed that when you exercise and when you include physical movement into your life, that increases dopamine, that increases serotonin. So it is important. All those chemicals that are in our body, that when we exercise, that help us also, like, feel better, heal better, or like, faster. I'm like, I'm thinking about the word in Spanish. I'm like, I'm not speaking Spanish today. But anyway, so I think it's very interesting that you thought about your body. And okay, so before we were recording this episode, we were talking about like dates, right? And so we had a little bit of disagreement, not disagreement, but we were talking about it. So he was saying that he like, you don't understand sometimes why we as women were like, oh no, we need like some time to heal. And it's like, no, he didn't want to heal. Like, he wanted to go on a date, and for him to go on a date, he had to feel better about your body, right? So what do you think about that? Like,
Well,
what do you think about the difference? Like, for me, it wasn't like that. For me, it was like, I'm not ready to go out on a date. And when I first, and we were talking about it before, but when I first went out on dates, maybe a year later, or I don't remember, like, really, I don't remember. Then I met this lawyer and I went out on 7 dates, and then he ghosted me and he never appeared again. So for me, it wasn't like being the best in my body. For me, it was being like, am I really healed? Oh, you're drinking, like, he's drinking my wine. It's my wine.
It came over the line we talked about.
Whatever.
It was
Okay.
on my side.
This is, I'm sorry for the people who are listening to
Oh.
us and not watching. But anyway, so can you just build on that? Build on, what I'm saying? Because for you, it was like, I need to feel good. I need to, in order to have good dates, I need to look good. For me, it was, in order to have dates, not good dates, I need to heal myself. So what do you think about that?
Let's back up a step. So
Okay.
it's not about looking good. It's about feeling like you look good.
Okay.
So there's a big difference. Self-confidence is very important. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like women respond to a man who has self-confidence more than anything else. That's why a lot of them are like, oh, why do I like this bad boy or something?
Yeah.
It's not that they like a bad boy. They like a man with self-confidence. And that comes across. Now, sometimes it's not healthy self-confidence. Sometimes it's a little arrogance. Like, self-confidence and arrogance can be a little look similar and be confusing. But it's very important to have self-confidence when you go out there. So nothing can help you have better self-confidence than feeling good about how you look. Right? If you feel good about how you look, that feeds into having self-confidence, and women respond to that. So when you start to feel that way, you go out on you start dating and you have success. That gives you some feedback, right? It gives you feedback like, okay, I'm going the right direction. These may not be my forever people, but I'm at least going the right direction because they want to go out with me again.
Okay. This is what I'm hearing. Like, you felt like women are attracted, right, to men that has more confidence in themselves. But what about, what are you attracted?
What am I attracted to?
Yeah, because I feel it's the same energy. And before you talk, like, and I watched this movie. It's called I Feel Pretty with Amy Schmusher.
Schumer.
Schumer, of course. I'm not pronouncing that right.
Schumer.
Remember
Yeah,
that,
really.
just like Sofia Vergara in Modern Family said to her husband, do you know how smart I sound in Spanish? I do sound a lot smarter than in Spanish than in English. I'm sorry.
It's
But
okay.
yes.
You don't have to
So
apologize.
Amy, she did this movie that is called I Feel Pretty. And she's a chunky woman, and she doesn't feel confident about herself, her body. So she, like, the way she walks is like, like, she doesn't want to be seen. But after she hits her head, she changes. And I do recommend the movie because of the message. So after that, when she sees herself in the mirror, she's like, oh my God, I'm so gorgeous. And she started changing. She looked the same. It's just like she hit her head, and she changed her whole personality just because she thought she was beautiful, like in her eyes, right? What she thought, like, she thought, I'm so skinny and everything. And she was the same thing. But the beautiful thing, and that's how it connects to your story, is that she started, during the movie, she started to attract all these people, the job that she wanted, the guy that she wanted, just because she thought. And this is so important because
Exactly.
it's about what you think about yourself. And that's the beauty of what you were talking about. So my point in all this 5 minute story, right, is I think or I believe like we want the same thing. If you ask me what do you want in a guy, I mean, I could say a lot of things, but I want somebody who has confidence
Abs.
and abs. This is a non-related story. It is related, but it's about dating. Anyway, and abs, no, it's not about that. But I want somebody who like takes charge of it. Like, he's really confident in himself. So it's the same thing that you're looking for in a woman. You want a woman that is confident. We want the same thing, not somebody that is emotionally unavailable or is like a crybaby. I don't know. Like,
Well, no one wants to spend their time in a relationship building up the other person up all the time, right? Sometimes is necessary.
it is.
Sometimes that's your job at being in a relationship. But all the time, someone who's so damaged that they need constant build up is a problem. You can't be someone's therapist in a relationship. So that's what you're looking for. Like charisma has three parts. It's not physical attraction, physical appearance is one of them. The second part is intelligence. The third part is warmth. And all those have to kind of go together. And the biggest part, I believe, is the warmth part. And the warmth includes self confidence, like being open and friendly and warm and loving. And that's, I think, what men are looking for when they see a woman who has that. It overrides the other things to some degree. You gotta have something to talk about, but
Yeah.
warmth is very important. And I
That's
feel like that's what I
yeah.
look for. And you know who I'm with, and you know that's the biggest thing she has.
Yeah, she's a beautiful person. And she's watching us right now.
Mm.
Anyway, so I think that's amazing. Sometimes we think, oh, men are so different, and we are different. And we were discussing this before we were recording the episode, and it's okay to be different. I think it's okay to be different, and it's okay to understand that we are and kind of, be open. That's what we were talking about. Be open to the other person, and not because I think something is right it means that it is right, or the other person has to agree with me. But when you were talking about your story, you said you work on yourself
Mhm.
and you work on your body, but you also, I mean, you saw therapists and all that. So I really want our audience to know, what does real inner work look like for a man?
Well, I went to therapy. I had a therapist, Dr. Brown. She's out there somewhere. I haven't seen her in a few years, but
Hello, Dr. Brown.
she was really good. Um, and I did a lot of reading. There were some like psychologists that I follow, and a lot of thinking, a lot of meditating, a lot of self work
Hmm.
just by myself, a lot of time to think. I used to go hiking 2 hours a day every day. I don't have time for that at the moment, but that's a lot of time to think, a lot of time to meditate, a lot of time to reflect. I think that's really important. Like, take the time to reflect on who you are, where you're going, and what you want to be. And I think that will make a big difference in your life. Um, and then, like, having someone like a therapist or friends to bounce things off of, not just your partner, because you can't do that. You can't put that much weight on your partner. You some, but not all, right? That's one thing I learned from a marriage. You can't put everything on your partner. That's too hard for one person to bear. Um, so those are things I did.
You know that research says that men are significantly less likely to seek therapy post divorce and more likely to suppress grief. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's unfortunate. I do understand a lot of men think, well, I'm good the way I am, like whatever, but you're not. It doesn't hurt to have someone to talk to. It doesn't hurt to have a little bit of feedback. It won't hurt. It doesn't make you less of a man to admit that you're not perfect. You know, no one is, and it's okay to not be perfect. And women will like you more if you can admit it.
Yes, we do, because we like a guy that is vulnerable and that
Exactly.
show his feelings and
Hmm.
his emotions. And that's what my friend said about this guy, that he loves the fact that he's open about it. And I think that's really important, Robert. And I really appreciate
Is
you.
that what she said? She never told me that.
She did. Anyway, so I do have a question. We're
Mm.
talking about therapy and all that. What did you have to confront that you had avoided for 20 years?
I think the main thing was trying to figure out why I kept going into relationships that were unhealthy for me. Like, why did I keep doing that? Why did I keep picking women who like to do what I call the push pull? Like, they love you 1 second and then they don't love you the next second, or they criticize you in a way that's not nice and unhealthy, and then the next second they tell you they love you. So it's like a roller coaster, and I kept jumping into those kind of relationships. Why? So by going to therapy, helped me figure out why I did that. Anyway, it all goes back to how I was raised and stuff like that, and how my parents treated me, and so on and so forth. So I think that's the biggest thing is like try to figure out why you keep getting into unhealthy situations. That's what therapy will do. If you haven't, I'm not saying I was a victim because I kept jumping in these relationships. It was a choice I kept making again and again and again. So by going to therapy, I figured out why I made that choice and how not to make that choice anymore. Find a woman who knows how to say, I'm sorry. That's a big deal.
Wow, I absolutely love this because I think until we understand why we behave this way and what are our patterns, we're going to repeat them until we find what it
Hmm.
was. And I think that's beautiful, just the fact that you did that, that you found out, and now you have an amazing woman by your side that most likely says, I love you all the time. And in
Yeah.
her own way, she says, I'm sorry, right?
I mean, she says, I'm sorry, and I say, I'm sorry. And the thing that makes our relationship work is the fact that we can fight without being hurtful,
Mm.
right? I used to think at some point in this journey after being divorced that I should be in a relationship where we never fight. And I had one like that. And I got engaged to her. But it wasn't an authentic relationship. It didn't work because we never had a fight, right? We never had a fight. We never had a disagreement. We never talked about anything. So everything was swept under the rug. That doesn't work. An authentic relationship requires fights. It requires the ability to fight without being hurtful. It requires the ability to resolve the fights and requires good makeup sex.
Woohoo! Now we're getting serious here. I think,
Because you reconnect,
yeah,
you have
no,
a little fight, you have good makeup
yeah.
sex, and it helps.
And then you can fight again
And
because
it
you're
brings it
like,
all back together.
oh, your
You
body has,
reconnect that way, and it makes everything like
right.
it's like the ribbon on the present.
Yeah.
You have the present, but it needs a little extra ribbon.
I love
It
that.
doesn't hurt.
I love the extra ribbon. I have
Yeah.
heard so many times, Robert, that, well, actually, I call him Roberto. But Roberto,
Roberto, extra
that
sexy.
is so sexy. Now we're talking about sex. Yeah, this is so sexy. So, Roberto, um, I
Más importante.
I love that. I've heard so many
She's blushing
times
over
that
there.
I
You
know
see it?
she is. I can see her with the corner of my eye. But I've heard so many times, Roberto, that we need to know how to fight, how to have the fights in a relationship. And I think this is so important because you said, it's still there's respect there. You know how to like. It's of course it's normal that we're gonna fight or we're gonna have disagreement with the other person. That's it. That's the story of our lives, right? But the way that you go through that fight or through that disagreement and how you come out and then the after sex, of course.
Well, it's important to have conflict without having a war,
Yeah.
right? You're going to have disagreements. You're going to have men and women think differently,
Mm-hmm.
right? We see things differently, have different perspectives. So you have to be able to communicate to get through these things. I mean, today we had a little disagreement. I, and she was so angry with me, I could
Oh, she
tell. Yeah,
was.
she was so
I
mad.
can tell
She was so
she's
mad.
like,
Yeah, and I said something that had nothing to do with what she thought I said.
mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that was her fault or my fault. I communicated one way and she communicated another way. And she thought I said something I didn't say. And if I had said what she thought I said, I wouldn't blame her for being angry. But we talked. She texted me and told me how she felt about it. I was like, wait a minute, like that's not what I meant to say. I'm so sorry. This is what I meant to say. And then we got through it. We haven't had the makeup sex yet, but that's later. And then
Okay,
so
I'm leaving right now.
like maybe even before we get home. Anyway, so no, like that's important is to in fact when we met when we first started our relationship I feel like this is a big deal that we did.
Hmm.
We actually went because I was still a police officer at the time. We had a benefit. um, I got 6 visits with a couples therapist, and before we even became really a couple we went to that, like a pre-couple therapy. And even though we don't use it all, we know the things that we can, the tools that we can use. Because I feel like that's the best thing two couples can do when they start to engage and they decide to try to be a couple. Go to couples therapy, learn how to communicate. I mean, she's from a different country, right? Not only is she female, but she's from a different country. She's so different from me. We have different ways of thinking. We grew up with different ways, with different values, all that. So to go to therapy and talk about things and get some tools, I think has been helpful,
Hmm.
right? This is how you can, like, if you want to have a successful relationship, these are tools you can use later,
Hmm.
and it's a good idea. And people are like, oh, you're crazy. You haven't even been together yet. Why are you going to therapy? Why,
Just because we want to see if we can
yeah.
be together.
Why,
Yeah.
why not go when things are good
Yeah.
instead of waiting until things are bad and can't be
Hmm.
fixed, right? Go things where things are good, and that way you have the tools to prevent things from going bad.
I love it. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who Louis House is, but he has a podcast called The School of Greatness, which I follow. And he's married right now. He has 2 girls. But before, when he started dating Martha, she's from Mexico, different
Hmm.
country, and he's American, just like you. And he said, I want to start therapy before doing anything. And they waited like 3 months to have sex, to be intimate, right? And because he really wanted, he didn't want, he saw his patterns and he didn't want to do that again. So like he really wanted to be in a relationship that felt different. So he said, we're gonna go to therapy. And Martha said, yeah, I love it. Like I want to go to therapy. Of course, as a woman, like we love therapy, right? So I think that's very beautiful. But I want to go back because yes, you have been dating for a year now, but I want to know, and I think our
We've been in a
audience,
relationship for a year, not
I'm
dating for a year,
I'm
beyond dating.
sorry, like I'm from Venezuela, so I don't know the English words. But yes, sure, it's your podcast, not mine. Anyway, so
Yes, that's
I
right.
I do want to know. I do want to know, and I want to go back before that.
Hmm.
So, what was it like? Because I think a lot of us that are out there, dating or trying to date or whatever we're doing. So, what was it like entering a dating world after 20 years? Like 20 years older, so you look
Hmm.
different, you're divorced, you have no idea what's going on. Like, do I spank them? Do I kiss them? Like, what was
No,
it?
I didn't spank them.
I think I saw that
I
on a
don't
movie or
remember any
something.
spanking anyway. I mean, at first it was like scary, like what am I gonna do? Like, but once I started doing it, it wasn't so bad. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with these people.
The
I
camera is right there.
I know. I
But you have to say like, I'm
oh,
gonna be honest with you,
I
people.
I loved it. I had a lot of fun.
You did?
I did. I had a lot, especially after although I gained some back. I had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed meeting new people.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed learning new things. I spent 20 years like in a freezer, in a marriage freezer. Like I was married. It was fine, but I had this family. We lived in a suburb in a house. Like and there was never any change. I didn't know people from Venezuela.
We're so much fun, right?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know people from Argentina or from Romania or any of that. I didn't know people from China or Korea. I didn't know anyone like that. Everyone was in my little nice white community in West Cobb, in our little suburb with nice schools. I didn't know anyone like that. So I got to go out and meet people from different walks of life, and I had the best time meeting all these different people and having dates and having fun and good conversations. Was it always fun? No, there's plenty of dates that went like really bad, and we could have a whole other podcast about my bad dates if you want.
I think we should.
Yeah, we can have. I have different little stories I could tell you forever. But the fact is, I didn't put a lot of pressure on it. I learned early on, like, I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on this date. I feel like that's a failure. A lot of women do. They're like, I'm going to go on this date and it has to be my next husband or something. And I didn't do that. My view going on a date was, as long as I have a good time, it'll be a win. As long as I have one good conversation, come away with one good thing that I have learned, whether it's a new song or a new restaurant I picked I haven't been to before and it's really good, or whatever it was, if that was the one thing, that was a success, no matter what. And I was okay with that. And so I went on lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of dates. Over 1,000. Easy
A
first date.
thousand dates?
Easily.
No, you're
One
kidding me.
one week I decided just for the heck of it, I had the week off. I went on 21 first dates in one week. 3 a day for 7 days just to do it. Just to
Okay,
see if I
so
could do it.
like coffee in the morning, lunch,
And then
and
dinner and
drinks.
drinks, yeah. Every day for
How
7
much money
days.
did you spend?
Too much.
Okay, too
Too
much.
much, yeah.
Oh
Because
my
I would
God.
pay for every day. So that's
Okay.
the unfortunate thing
Yeah.
of being a man is like, especially if it was a cheaper date, you better pay. Like,
Okay.
it was just, that's what it was. I just wanted to do it. I wanted to experience those things because they were growth for me. Like, I know a lot of Spanish because I've been around people who speak Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
right? I know a little tiny bit of Portuguese, like gostoso and beijo, and like there's only like I wouldn't know those things if I hadn't learned some of them.
If you haven't gone on like 1,000 days.
Correct. But you learn about people, you learn new songs, you
Yeah.
learn new restaurants, you learn new places, like you learn to appreciate people, and there's good and bad, but I feel like I grew so much from that. I grew a lot from that. I'm a
And
better person because of it, even though it may have disappointed
mhm.
people here and there.
I love that you told that story, and I do want to go back to something that you say, that you enjoy it and you relate it to women and how we think like, okay, this is the guy that I'm gonna marry. And like, yes, that's how I felt. Like, I don't know, 2 years when, I went out with this guy, the lawyer, he was younger, like
We can have
not
that talk
nine
later.
years younger. I don't know. I look young, so what can I say? Anyway, so I first, I went out on dates, like 7 dates, and of course, in my mind was all those stories that you build, like, oh my God, this is gonna be the next one, and this year has been different. So the two
Hmm.
days that I've had, like, actually, and more than second date that I had with the guy that I was mentioning to you about, zero expectation. And it was pretty cool to have zero expectation. We had like a 3 hour date with the other guy, with the one in January. It was like a 6 hour date. No, actually, yeah, like 6 hour date. It was beautiful. Like, it was amazing. So I just enjoy it. And it feels different. It doesn't feel heavy when you don't put all those expectations. So I do want to take your advice, and I hope some of you take his advice, because when you go with no expectations, it's easier. You just go there and you enjoy it. So I have so many questions, because yesterday I went out with my divorce club friends, and they're so funny, and they texted me. I left earlier because, as I've been writing my book, and I went to bed really late, and it was like 9 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, I need 9:30. And after two drinks, I'm like, I think it's okay.
So you went to sleep at 9:30. You think you
No,
should
I
go out with
didn't.
men
No,
who
I
change
didn't.
your
I
number?
went to sleep at 12, but I needed to be in my bed. But they texted me. It's like, okay, so you're interviewing Roberto tomorrow. So you need to.
Roberto.
Roberto. It looks so like, yeah, it looks so sexy. Like Roberto. You're going to interview Roberto tomorrow. You need to ask him that. I look like Italian. Anyway, so this is what they say. One of the things was, and I'm gonna tell you all the questions and then just randomly whatever
I
you want to
can't respond to
say.
one question at a time. Can we respond to all the questions at once? Because there were a lot of questions.
It's just funny that I tell you all the things that they ask, but yes.
Okay, go ahead. Do your funny, and then I'll do what I
Okay, so
can.
the funny thing is that they text me like a long test, just like the ones that you do. Anyway, so one of the things that they asked him or asked me to ask him was, what are the best apps that are safe? One thing. The other thing, where are the apps that, the same kind of people, like same social status, if there are some apps like that, or academic status. Then they say, ask him, where do I find people with no mental problems or traumas? And then, like, I'm reading this and I'm like, fuck, we all have mental problems and traumas, right? And then they ask how to know, and this is really important, how to know pictures are legit and profiles are legit. Then they said, what information should I put in my profile, and how many pictures, and how do I find the right person and don't waste my time. And I was laughing when I saw this because, I mean, yes, this is what I want. I don't want to waste time. But the thing is that, how many frogs do we have to kiss until we find the prince?
Quite a
Maybe,
few, yeah.
I don't know, maybe too many,
I mean,
right?
you can't worry about wasted time, right? I mean, why worry about that? Like, there were plenty of times I went on a first date and it was not a good first date. And that's okay because eventually there will be a good first date. You just have to keep trucking. You can't just give up after one time. Oh, you can't put so much, like we're talking about pressure. You put so much pressure. This got to be the one, the one, the one, the one. And no, they don't, they get a little more wrinkles than they had in their photo. Of course they do. But there's not that much more. I mean, we have to be realistic. People are people. Your friends are how old? These friends, how old are they?
No. Hold on. You
No,
haven't.
no.
Okay, hold on. You haven't answered all the question.
I did. I'm
However,
answering the question.
I do want to say something about what you said. Oh, but like some people have more wrinkles. This is what happened to me when I went on the apps like 2 years or 3 years ago. Like, so I go on a date and this guy is like not six pack, like 12 app packs or whatever, right? And then I go, he has a big belly. Look, my profile right now has pictures that I have taken from like 5 months, like in the past. Not 5 years. I mean, 5 years before, of course, I had no wrinkles. I have like 4 packs. Now I have 1 pack. So I'm not going to put a picture with my 4 pack because right now I have 1 pack.
Okay.
So I do
But-
not understand. Like, I don't like what you're saying.
That's
I'm sorry.
fine. I mean, but there's more to people than their 6 pack or 1 pack or 12 pack.
Yeah, but it's like, it feels
Like,
like
it's okay.
lying. It feels like
I mean,
lying.
it depends on the level of lying. Like if it's just a little, everyone puts on the best face they can put. Women wear makeup every day. It's not really how they look in the morning.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, it's not. Is
Yeah,
it?
but
It's
still,
like
if I'm gonna go out, no,
you walk around with a filter on your face, and it's all fine, and you're gonna say, "Oh, I used a filter on my photo." You walk around with a filter every day. Is that fair?
Oh my God. Yes, I don't know,
I
but
can't wear
at least you
makeup.
know that we wear makeup.
I know you wear makeup, but I also see you in the morning, and I have to love that morning face too. Right?
F you.
I'm just saying. Let's be realistic.
I think you're right on this.
This is
one,
not
yeah.
the biggest, most important thing ever. Okay, like if it's extreme, that's one thing. But if it's just a little tiny, like best light on reality, then what's the big deal? Get to know someone. Get to know them. Take a minute. These are human beings.
Okay, but hold on.
Women do the same thing too, not just men. Women do
Okay.
the same thing too with their photos. And they also wear makeup and they don't look the same in the morning, which is fine. That's not what they're all about. There's more to another person than that. Give it a chance. Give it a minute. If it's a total big lie and they don't look anything, that's different. But, if it's close, see if the personality, see if the date is fun. Give it a chance. Don't get all upset and toss it in the first second and a half.
I think this is really important. And
There's other ways around this issue too, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute. I think that was one of the other questions. Are we limited to 30 minutes? Can we keep
no,
going?
no, you can keep going.
Okay,
You
good.
wanted to answer all the other
Well, there was
questions.
another question you asked
Which
me,
one?
which was a dating app
No, no, no.
or
I haven't gone there. That's
well,
a this or
this
that.
this
No,
this leads to
they
that.
ask what are the best dating apps.
Dating app or meeting organically, right?
No, that's a this and that we haven't gone
We
there.
can't talk about that yet.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to the next part of the podcast episode, which is a game that we're gonna play today, and it's called This on That. So I'm gonna
Did I
ask.
mess you up?
Yes, you did, but
Oh
it's
no, go
okay.
back then.
You cannot you have to put your microphone so
Go
people can hear you.
Go back to the
No, 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 no,
previous.
no, no, no. Then you can go back. Anyway, so we have this game that is called This on That. So I'm gonna ask you something, and you're gonna say either this or that.
Okay.
So first question: dating app or organic meeting?
Okay. So I think the best thing
You need to like Robert. You need to answer the question.
organic. However, organic can be more than just like you're not going to meet someone at the grocery store randomly. Okay?
But you could
This-
because you met
You could,
your
but it's very unlikely.
girlfriend
It's very unlikely.
organically.
But did we? Is it organic or not? I'll explain. So we met through a social group that's through Facebook, right? So it's technically online. It was set up because it was an event. It was like the Super Bowl, right? The Super Bowl last year was an event people could go to. So it's organic, but it's also set up. And I feel like that's probably the best way because I know going into it, she's single. Like I'm not walking up talking to a woman who's like in a couple or something or married or what. I don't have to risk entire rejection based on that fact. Like there's a certain amount of like security in knowing I can approach her, right? Approaching a woman out randomly is not something I want to do because it's not always safe to do that. I think women don't understand that. It's no longer safe for me to approach you just generally in public. It's not because I could be harassing you. I could be bothering you. It's not safe for me to do that. Like things have changed. We're not allowed to go and approach you in the drugstore and ask you out.
No,
I mean,
I get
we
it.
can, but we're not supposed to do that anymore.
Okay.
However, if we go to an event that's full of single people, then it's okay, and that's how I met her.
So, okay, based on what he's saying and what I have been through, so no, like it's good the apps, however, organically, but in environments that are related to single people. For example, I remember me and his girlfriend, we did way back, we did, I think, the couples.com or something like that. So it was something online, and we did it one time, and it was kind of fun, right? And but you recommend going to like singles event. I remember last year I went to a gala with this company that is called matching making, I don't remember, matching making 101 or something like that. But they had a gala, so I paid to go to the gala, and we were all single people. The thing is that there were a lot of single women and less guys. But yes, so being in an environment like that. So second question: profile with 3 great pictures or 1 amazing one?
3 great pictures. You need a profile photo.
Mm-hmm.
You need a photo of you doing something active, preferably, like a hobby,
Like
or
a hiking
something,
or something,
or a hiking
okay.
or whatever. So that,
Yeah, whatever.
and
It's
I'll tell you why in a minute,
Okay.
and then maybe another photo with your friends or something. Do not make the photo with your friends your primary photo. So I have to figure out which one is it, the one
Right,
I
which
matched
one are
with.
you? Mhm.
I hate that. That's ridiculous. But those 3 things, I want to see that you have friends, that you have an activity you like, and what you look like.
Okay, good.
I don't even need to read the profile.
Okay.
I'll read that later.
Okay. So that takes me to another question. Long bio or short and clear?
Short and clear. Give me something to ask about, and then I'll take it from there.
Okay.
Don't
So
make me read a book.
so he opened my Facebook dating, and he had like a man's profile there, and I went back after a while and I changed it. So he put something like, I did change it, I'm sorry, but he put something like, I like karaoke, I like pool, which I've played like twice in my life, but
That counts.
but guys keep asking me if I do well on that, so I should keep that
We need
vibe.
a photo of you playing pool in your profile.
Okay, can we play pool and you take and
Yes,
then
that's what we
she's
need
gonna
to
take
do.
the picture. Okay, we're
Why is
gonna
she
do
going
that
to take the picture?
because we're playing pool.
I
Oh no,
cannot be in the picture with
no.
you.
Oh,
I'm not going to
that's
ask you
true.
out
That's
if I'm
true.
in the picture
So
with you.
he's gonna take the picture and she's
That's the
gonna
first thing
play
about
pool.
why is there a guy in there?
Okay, no,
That's
no guys.
ridiculous.
Okay, that's another one. Next question: first date, coffee or dinner
I mean,
or happy hour? I don't know.
oh, oh yeah.
It's
So
it
I
could
got
be
three
this,
choices.
that, or those.
Those. I feel, in my view, in my experience, that a drinks date was always best. One, I always look better if they have a couple drinks. Two,
Okay.
it's always better to have a date at night,
Mm-hmm.
just because people are more in the mood to connect at night, I feel. Doesn't mean that the coffee date can't work, but
Mm-hmm.
the coffee date feels more like a business meeting. And this is my personal preference. I didn't like that. Like your own caffeine, it's a lot. It feels like a business meeting. It's more like an interview, peppered with questions. Like they can work. I have had some successes with that, but I've had a lot more successes with like have a couple drinks, have an appetizer, and then you're
Okay.
see how that goes. A full dinner, then you're locked in, and it's expensive. More, I mean, drinks are expensive too, but
Yeah, but
a
it's
full
better
dinner is
just
even
drink
more.
and not drinks and dinner.
Yeah. I
And then
mean,
if
unless you're
you,
hitting it off. Like
yeah.
I would try to choose places for a date where if we hit it off, there are other places to go after the
Mm.
date, right? I think when she and I went on our first date, I chose West Midtown, Cooks and Soldiers, which is like a vast tapas place, so
Mm-hmm.
we have dinner there. But we knew each other already a little bit. There's a complicated story we need to go into.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk
We
about
knew each
it.
other for a
We
good.
have like limited time today.
We knew each other for a time before that, so a dinner was okay, or a brief dinner. It was tapas and drinks, really. So it was more like snacks and drinks,
Yeah.
like I'm saying. And there were other places nearby where we could go, which we did, and we hung out at these other places. So if you hit it off, you could have a long date. If you don't hit it off, you'd be like, "Let me walk you to your car. Good night." So I would, if it was someone I liked, I would always try to choose places where I knew there was opportunities to have an extension to the first date.
Well, that's interesting. So, I like at the end of the podcast because I think we need
Are
to
we at
have
the end
another.
already?
We are at the end, but I think we should. Like, you want to keep talking, right? Okay.
I
So
got so many more things
I'm
we could talk
no,
about. We're gonna have
yes,
to do a sequel.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Okay. This is the first guy that we interview him from breakup to us. But I'm gonna ask you this: what does building a life that belongs entirely to you look like? Maybe the life that you're building right now.
Yeah, I think I'm doing that now. I think when, like I said earlier, when I got divorced, and I looked myself in the mirror, like, who am I now? Who do I want to be now? I become the person I want to be, and when I find someone else who likes that person, that's enough. I don't have to change for her, and I don't let her try to change me. And women, stop trying to change the man in your life. Don't do that.
Okay, no, that should be
Don't
okay.
do that
Can you
anymore.
hold on that for the end? I can
I
ask
thought
you.
this was the end.
No, because I have three questions that I'm gonna ask
Oh,
you.
okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the first one,
Uh-huh.
what do you wish women? Maybe you answer it, but hold on a sec. So, what do you wish women understood about what men go through after a long marriage ends?
Well, I think that the biggest thing is for women to understand that we're not that much different from them, but our methods to healing are a little bit different. Like we need to get up off the mat. We can't be laying there for an 8 count, right? It's important for women to understand that we need to be out there. We need to become a man again. We need to feel like we're a man. We need to be the hunter, the warrior, the whatever. The inner warrior needs to come out. We can't just be laying there. Doesn't mean we don't heal and work on ourselves,
Right.
but at the same time, we need to be out there.
I did
It's
forget
okay.
to tell him that the question was answered in one word or one sentence.
Oh no, you didn't tell me that.
Okay, second question. What's one thing the physical transformation taught you that had nothing to do with your body?
Does that only have one word?
No, no, you can go.
Okay. Physical health equates to mental health, right? Working on yourself, feeling physically healthy, helps you be mentally healthy. They're intertwined. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I said like you cannot talk anymore, he's like, bleep. Yeah, that's it.
Well, you want
So,
me to keep it sweet and
no, no.
short?
The third question, and this is something that I ask everybody on the podcast, but what does badass mean to you today?
I think what it means to me today, and I didn't really go into that. Um, I didn't have a chance to go into that. We were talking about losing weight and feeling more confident and all that. It can be taken to a level that's unhealthy as well. Because you have a new toy. It's like having a new toy. What do you do with a new toy when you have it? You play with it.
Play with it every single day.
Yeah, maybe a little too much, right? You play with it a little too much, and you play with it, play with it, play with it, and then eventually you're like, okay, I've played with this toy too much. I need to. So it's okay to back off a little bit. It's okay to, like, I think being a badass isn't about having abs. Being a badass is about being content where you are. You've accomplished your goals and you're working toward it and you feel good about where you are. That's what being a badass is. It's not being about being perfect, it's about being content.
Oh my God, that's an answer that we have not had in the podcast. And, one of my friends gave me this book and it's about gratitude. So it's a
Hmm.
journal. So every day I write about gratitude. And every time there's a prompt, it's like, what are you grateful for? Or like, I mean, it's like the same question, but in a different way because they're like, I don't know, 200 pages. And it always comes up that I'm content,
Right. Like
you
you,
know?
like before it was like I worried about every little piece of food I put in my mouth. Or did I do my 2 hours of exercise today? Whatever it was. I think that was probably a little too much. Like being content where I'm you look in the mirror. Can you look in the mirror and say, am I doing everything I can reasonably do with my life, as with the situations that face me? And if the answer is yes, then that's contentment. I'm doing everything I can reasonably do, right? I'm not taking it to extremes. I'm doing what I can do with the situations that face me. Life doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be okay. I'm doing the best I can,
Oh my God, don't you
right?
love that?
Yeah.
Robert, this
Don't put
has,
too much pressure on yourself.
I won. After this episode, I won. I'm taking every single advice from him. But it's been an amazing, time to be here with you because this is the first time that a guy told his story and his point of view.
Hmm.
And for you, remember, if this episode gave you a different perspective, just share it with someone that, maybe believe that men can change because they can change. And tag me at Yanira Puy Wellness because I love to hear from you. And if you want to work with me outside of the podcast, email me at info@janitapuy.com. And I'm gonna leave you the same way that I leave you in every single episode. You've got this. Now go live like the badass that you are.